All right, so welcome everyone to the Future of Architecture, the Extended Realities Augmented Reality episode. Today we'll be talking to Hari Kumaran Babu, and he's going to be telling us a little bit more from the perspective of a non-architect about what augmented reality is and where does he see augmented reality going. He is going to be telling us a little bit more about his journey and about himself. Hari, I'm going to get straight into it. Hari, please introduce us to you.
Yeah. Good evening, guys. I don't know what time it is in
Oh,
where,
it's
but
afternoon. It's afternoon.
okay. Good afternoon. So it's evening right here around 3:30 in Chennai. The weather is quite pleasant, not too hot, not too cold.
Yes.
And glad to speak with all of you guys and to share my experiences as well as whatever I know about XR. And yep. So as the bio had been written out, so I started off as a chemical engineer from NIT Trichy, one of the premier colleges in India, and then I found out engineering was not my cup of tea, and I shifted to design. And from designing, while getting into designing, I started off as a graphic designer, and I was doing a lot of freelance stuff. And then I did my master's in National Institute of Design, Bangalore, and that was where I first got to know about XR, that is AR, VR, XR. I got to know about these. That was my origins for the interest in this domain. And taking that forward, a couple of projects in college itself, and then I did my thesis on this, and then I got into Trimble, and where I did my thesis as well over there. I just joined as an intern, and I converted over there, and then I worked for around 2 years. It was around 2.5 years, and yep, a very good experience. And then from there on, I moved on, and I thought, okay, let's start something called for evangelizing XR, because I got to know the importance of XR a lot while I was there, and how it can change the world. But there's not much awareness amongst the people, I believe, or there's not much understanding in a logical way, because as far as I see, most of the news, what you see right now, or the articles, it's quite complicated for a normal person to understand what XR means, or what AR, what VR means, unless and until you actually experience it. You will never be able to identify what it is. So I thought maybe I should give that a clarification to everyone, and let me try to take you through each of these experiences today in a form of my presentation, where I'll try to break down things quite easily for you. And going forward, then I'll open up for Q&A, and I'm all up for all the questions and answers. So with that, I think I'll give me a minute. I'll share my presentation. I think I can go ahead, right?
Yeah, so Hari, I love your approach. And actually, the first question I was going to ask you was to share your presentation. I was going to ask you, what is
Okay.
augmented reality in the greater scheme of extended realities? And so you go
Yeah.
ahead with that. Um,
Yeah.
Let me know you have been able to share the screen. So I think you will be able to share it immediately.
Okay. Give me a second.
Sure. And like I say, architects love the visuals. When we see the visuals, we go crazy. Okay. Ah, there we go. I can see it. I think we all can see it.
It's all good.
Yes, I
Clear.
can see it on my side. Yes.
Okay. So I call this design plus XR because uh, not many people have realized the importance of design in XR. So this topic is going to revolve around how do you design for XR, and majorly what I'll be covering today is on the basics of XR. How is it like? What do you understand about XR? How do you understand XR, and what are the stats, and how are companies right now doing stuff with XR? And yeah, there's a workshop which I conduct in 1:2x, where I do a complete almost 2 weeks, not 2 weeks, 7 days of workshop with fully loaded days of where I'll be talking and discussing and guiding students on how do you design for XR, where I'll be talking there in depth. But right now, I'll just give you a synopsis and give you an overall understanding of what XR means. So with that, I'll just go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Hari. I'm very keen to see. I love your graphics. So sorry, Hari, before you begin, tell me in the first slide, is that you in the first
Yep,
slide?
me,
Oh,
that's me. The first slide with my hand and my visuals, where I
oh,
just say
oh.
hello world, And yeah, it was prepared by me.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah,
Okay.
being a
Okay.
graphic designer, being a graphic designer first, initiate my days, it still keeps sticking on to you, right?
Right. Right. Undoubtedly. Yes. Please continue. Sorry for that
Yeah, so,
interruption.
no problem. So, what do you mean by XR? XR means extended reality. I'm sure many of you guys must have heard all these terms: XR, AR, VR, MR, and all these terms are interchangeably used by many people across the industry and the news. But there is a hierarchy to this term. So that's this. XR actually means AR plus VR plus MR. Basically, it's a collective term for all the realities, all the experiences you either experience in AR or VR or MR. And what is AR is augmented reality. What is VR is virtual reality, and MR is mixed reality. You can see the icons over there, right? So if you see the iconographies over there, AR is predominantly mobile, and VR is the headset, and MR has a headset. I'll take you through why and why I'm doing it like this. Okay. Before that, technically, we need to understand what AR, VR, MR means. So AR means basically digital content on top of your real world. Like you're seeing my screen right now, and if some graphics appears in front of you and goes away, and that is basically AR. Okay, and when you talk about VR, the digital environments that shut out the real world. So basically, you are immersed into a world which is completely shut off from the real world. So you are in a virtual world completely. Okay. And MR is basically when your digital content interacts with your real world. So you have a digital object which interacts in the real world with along with you. There's a difference again over here. Let me come again. AR is basically just an overlay. It doesn't interact. Okay, AR is it's just an overlay onto you. It doesn't specifically interact with the surroundings. It's more of just a filter. I'll tell you, your Instagram filters are actually AR. And so VR is completely getting immersed into a digital environment, a complete virtual world where you are closed from the real world. And mixed reality is basically when the digital content interacts with you in the real world. So this is the three major differences technically. Let me go through an example. Like I was telling, if you can see my screen, this is an AR.
Oh, yes, I
Okay,
can
so
see.
Instagram filter, or you can say Snapchat filters, all of them are basically AR. Okay,
Ah,
and now this is another example of AR over here. So he's interacting with an object in the real world, though. I know these questions might come in. I'll answer all of them, uh,
yes, they
but it's
will, but I can see it.
it's slightly more advanced AR. Okay,
Okay.
and now this one, Google Maps. I think this has been deployed in Japan, and I think in the US. I'm not sure, but yeah, this is how the future of Google Maps is, where you can actually go in the streets and you can actually view these, and you'll be able to see an AR experience. So that was AR for you. Now let me talk about VR. So basically, he's in a digital environment and he's playing a game over here. So he has his headset on and he's using his lightsabers to do this. So he's completely shut off from the real world over here. Another example is this, where two people multiplayer mode, they fight. So this everything is in a digital world. Right? And basically, you don't see it in this way. You see things from a single perspective, POV, from your POV, everything, and everything around you is totally digital. Now, this is MR, mixed reality. Okay, where he's in the real world, and this person is right now interacting in the real world with these digital objects. Okay,
Oh, I see the difference. Okay.
and this is an advanced mixed reality where your hands can interact with the digital objects in the real world. So this is what Microsoft HoloLens 2 does. What you saw earlier was a Microsoft HoloLens 1, where it was a pretty much a very single tap approach based, very low low touch point based. Okay, where you could not do much gestures into it, and here you have a lot more interaction with the digital objects. I'm just showing you all the capabilities actually, in fact, in MR mixed reality. And this is another set where in mixed reality toolkit where you can actually play and with the fingers. It's just like using in the real world how do you play a piano or button, press a button, you need to give that same design essence when you're doing it in the mixed reality. That is in the digital world as well. That is when your design is done right. People can easily know what to do than to explore. Okay, what should I do? Not get confused. Okay. So I hope you understood the differences between augmented reality, virtual reality, and mixed reality from all these examples which I showcased. So yeah, augmented reality is basically virtual objects which are overlaid on the real world environment and real world enhanced with digital objects. Virtual reality is fully artificial environment. You are fully immersed in this virtual world. And mixed reality is basically the combination of both of them, where you interact with the real world and the virtual world environment together. Okay. So now, why did I say wait when you saw the augmented reality which was able to interact with your environment? So this is what I meant. Basically, you cannot define AR, VR, MR. It's
Oh.
an experience range spectrum. So
Ah,
it falls here and there, everywhere in between. Now, if you notice over here, you have to the leftmost extreme, completely digital experiences, and rightmost extreme, the completely real experiences.
right.
So what do you mean by that is basically how real is the experience and how digital is the experience you are having right now. And the rightmost, you see your normal photos. It's the start of an AR. Okay, and from photo filters, your Snapchat, your Face ID, your when you use your iPhone or your uh, recent Android mobiles, you have the Face ID, right? That's AR basically.
Right.
And Instagram's right now the most Instagram filters, effects, Instagram effects, Pokemon Go. So
Oh,
all of these are AR. Okay, they are proper augmented reality. But as you go in deeper, there is something called AR Core and AR Kit,
yes.
which is
Yes.
basically the software for building AR in your mobiles. Okay, AR Core is for Android mobiles, and AR Kit is for iPhones and Apple devices. So, what do you mean by that? Is it has even more enhanced capabilities than the normal AR, where it can interact with your digital world. Just that your interaction is remained within the screen of your mobile. So it's like there is a linear expansion of experiences over here, and there's somewhere where a lot of mix happens, so you can never define what is what.
Right.
So this is also the reason why I would like to call it always as an XR. And as you see
Oh,
over here, mixed reality, more deeper it goes, more enhanced capabilities of interaction is in Magic Leap and Microsoft HoloLens. There are a couple more other Warjo, the Wide, uh, video games and VR, yeah, VR games. So all of these are in a way, one way or the other, giving an experience to everyone of different kinds. There can be millions more inside this. It can be even your physical installations which are present, where there might be few experiences, where 3D experiences, 4D, 5D experiences in theaters. Sometimes you see that also comes under the extended reality, where your physical space is where there's projection happening on your physical space, and then you see 3D animals jumping. I'm sure you must have seen few videos or gifs coming out in the internet some time back. Those are also XR. So that is like space installation, space design, I would say.
right.
Many architects, I believe, are very interested in that. Yeah. So going forward, I just wanted to say one more thing. Like I said, the headset and the mobile. You see, in AR Core, AR Kit, that is where the mobile stops, and beyond
Oh,
the maximum capability of a mobile.
okay.
And because it's your restriction over there is your mobile screen. So when you want to experience more than just being restricted to your mobile, it is to bring your visualization to your eyes, and that's when the headset comes, where your freedom of experiencing is a lot more, and your hands are more freer to experience it, and you just visually seeing them, and that's when the headset comes, and your degree of freedom, they would say, is more a lot more over there. Okay,
So this this
so
this this graph, Hari, is very beneficial because it explains the whole range of it, and I can follow a, if you can call it, somewhat of a linear path to understand augmented, mixed, and virtual. It lays it out rather very well. I think this is definitely a very beneficial diagram that you've made here.
Yeah, yeah. This is the crux of XR. I would say, you cannot define the experience. You actually cannot define an experience. It's
Yeah.
always gonna be a mix, no matter what. The capabilities will keep increasing. So I would call it XR as a whole. You cannot, but there are people who call AR as XR as well.
Yeah.
But you can say there's a stark difference between VR and AR. That's
Yes.
always
Yes.
there.
Do you
But
think that do you think the terms are labeled correctly? Because this is the terms we've all accepted now. But do you think that they defined it correctly, like via virtual, the word virtual, augmented, mixed?
So there's an interesting take on it. Each company, whichever has bought in this, each of them have termed it differently. Immersive reality. They're
Ah,
okay. So what happens is in the news when each company releases something, they bring in their own terminology on what they call it. So there's a lot of terminologies present throughout.
okay.
Like when Microsoft brought it out, they call it mixed reality. When I think Apple, they call it immersive something.
Okay.
Google. So there's a lot of there's a lot of terms which is going around. So I just want to put it to rest and say that let's call it XR, and that's it.
Yeah. I
And when
like
you
your
go
take
deeper,
on it.
yeah, when you go deeper onto it, you'll be able to define it better. Once
Okay.
you start getting, once you're able to understand what's there in it.
Okay.
So I just wanted to give a stat about what's happening in the market. Just a minute. I just want to move my screen a bit.
Sure. No,
Yeah.
no, no worries at all, because I think this everything you just mentioned now makes a lot clearer some of the confusion that has also happened recently. Um, because people throughout time have often interchanged them for each other, but also in doing so mixed up the meaning. There's things like gestural, like gestures that may only occur in mixed reality or virtual reality, but won't occur in augmented reality because it's perhaps more mobile based or needs a device to facilitate that.
Yeah, actually, thanks for bringing this question. I missed one important point. So all these experiences are always dependent upon the medium of interaction.
Oh,
The medium of interaction can be a mobile or a headset or a VR headset or a MR headset. So whatever your experiences are, it depends upon the medium of interaction. So I would term it as the medium of interaction. Like your mobiles have a limitation to the experience it can give. Your VR headsets have a limitation, and your mixed reality headsets have a limitation itself. So all these experiences have its own limitations. So it's always depends upon the medium of interaction over there.
okay.
Yeah. Okay. Um, so yeah, thanks for the point. Bring up the point. Okay, I just thought I'll give a rough coverage on what's the percentage of market consumption on XR right now. This was
Right.
issued in 2018. So sorry for the old stats. I couldn't get any new one.
No, but at least it gives us an overview because I don't
Yeah,
think that we are generally aware of how much it's actually used.
yeah. It's more of a projection, I would say.
Okay.
Because there are many people who are working on it. Still, it's a still work in progress. Always,
Yeah.
it's not out yet, right? So there's 38% of it is in virtual reality, 36 on augmented reality, and 26% on mixed reality. Right now, virtual reality has 38% because of the
Okay.
gaming industry, and the uh, yeah, majorly the gaming industry, and the augmented reality is because of the public consumption, your consumer consumption on Instagram, Snapchat filters, and
Oh.
photos. So and it's increasing right now. You can see the adoption is increasing in AR. In fact, all the companies, the major big companies are making big moves onto expanding mobile AR.
Hmm.
Mobile-based augmented reality
Right.
for all of them. That's how you can see an increased push from Facebook on Instagram's filters, where you have 3D filters, and they have even launched Spark AR, which is where people can just go create their own effects and launch it directly into their Instagram profiles. And yeah, and Snapchat does it always. So yeah, these are just the starting points, you can say, for getting the consumers used to these experiences.
Yeah, that's what I was actually going to mention that to you now. Do you think
Yeah.
that augmented reality is a good entryway into the extended realities realm because it gives people some of the real and some of the digital? Sorry.
Yeah, but let me say this, where do you use AR, where do you use VR, and where do you use MR? I would say, like, let me answer for that. It's more about the context. You cannot forcefully use all of them everywhere. It's about at which context, at which necessity, at where there's a necessity, and where it solves a problem. That's where it's going to have a maximum impact. And it has, I mean, it's basically can solve specific cases, in my opinion. You cannot have a whole system of it in a sense. Like, you cannot say your mobile solves every single thing which your laptop or computer does. It does not. There are certain use cases where you need your laptops, where you need your computer systems to do work, and you cannot be dependent on your mobile. So on a regular use, it happens. It's very much easier for us to use mobile, but it's always the light version. The more heavier load version always happens in your systems. So I would call it more as an ecosystem, where you have an ecosystem of all these devices being used at appropriate times. That
Okay.
is the way ahead. In fact, I see it as.
Oh, I like your approach because it sounds almost like the definition of design. It's like a problem-solving mechanism to be used
Yeah.
at an appropriate instance, um, or at least the definition that I subscribe to.
I mean, it is in fact, like how architecture solves urban planning in a way or the other, by taking into consideration of the urban cities and planning it accordingly for your cities. Design is a problem solver, and it has to be seen through that lens, in my opinion. If it is moved away from that lens, it's gonna cause a lot of, you know, uh, problems. I won't say problems, a lot of junk inside, and that's unnecessary.
I understand your point of view.
Yeah. Okay, so there's one interesting aspect is about the various percentages of various sectors where XR plays a role in the industry right now. So if you see, education is one of the topmost uh, priority, or you can say where there's maximum impact, which people think is going to happen in XR. 45.73 percentage.
Hmm.
Then comes healthcare at 19, and retail at 8.7, architecture engineering 6.4, manufacturing industrial engineering 4.5, 4.5 for automotive, travel 2, and others and 8%. So yeah, you have any questions? Yeah, I thought you had some questions on this.
No, 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 not at
Yeah.
this
Okay.
moment yet. I'm going.
Okay.
I'll get into them. I just your
Yeah.
graphics are so stunning, man. Your visuals really bring through the information
Okay.
across quite well. And I think it's in this manner where there's so much of data and information that we have to display it in such a way that's easy to understand. I think
Yeah.
doing this and then applying the same principles you have into augmented reality, I think there's great benefit in that because it's almost as if we could see the world in a way which will enhance or so-called augment our experience. But we will get to chat about that later on.
Yeah. Sure. Sure. So this is just a data on people, how and what do they think when XR will generate a profit
Oh,
and a
oh,
business terms.
this is an
So
interesting one. I've never seen one like this before, where
yeah,
someone
so
is asking this.
though the number of developers for XR is quite low, not many, but from within
Okay,
them, when do they think it's going to turn profitable? Is most of them have answered it is a medium term. It'll take around a medium term for it to become profitable if I start a business on it.
okay,
38% and 15% say it's currently profitable. 23% say it's long term. 12% say it's short term profits, and 11% say it's not tied to profitability, and 1% says never. So you can say overall 99% of them, or say 88% of the people do say that there is profit in XR in
okay,
terms of business. Uh,
okay. That's a good stat. In fact, your
yeah.
graphics explain it so well. Unfortunately, everyone who will be listening to this via podcast or audio, guys, I encourage you to go and watch the video of it because you guys and girls are missing out on the experience.
Okay. To be honest, tell the graphics what I have shown over here is just 50% of what I have on the course.
Ooh, that's
Not
that's
to be boasting, not to be boasting. So,
that's great.
uh,
That's great.
yeah, visuals play a very important role for people to understand and grasp immediately. If I
Correct.
start giving gibberish and a lot of stuff putting in one page, no one's going to understand. And the
Correct.
main point is for people to understand what I'm trying to say. So my visuals have to aid in understanding people.
Of course.
It's as simple as that logic. So that's why you need to give attention to the visuals, and either is it communicating to others. And it's similar in XR as well. It's you need to be very when you're designing for XR, it's very similar to that. You need to keep in mind about the different aspects in it when you're
Yeah.
designing for XR.
That's actually a point we're going to touch on, which is why I'm making so
Yep.
much emphasis on the visuals now, because I'd like everyone to just take note of what's going on, and then we can delve into this deeper in a little bit later on.
Oh, so from here on, it's gonna be all the current industries which are using XR. I'll be playing a set number of videos for it on which all domains XR has actually started having an impact. So, do you want me to go ahead with this?
Yes,
And then
I'd love to. In fact, the
okay.
next time we're going to edit out the future of education and put in the future of architecture there, and we're going to have it
No
because
worries,
that's
guys. Architecture has a lot of role over here, so I'll be showing you guys that.
of course, of course. Whoa, look at that! The guy is even moving.
Yep.
This is
So
this is great. In fact, rather, this is the future of education.
exactly.
This world. Look at that.
So this is what AR does. When you want to understand a concept, it's much easier if you show it to people, to show it to students, than to explain it verbally. Because whatever we say might just bounce off our heads. Even now, maybe some of them might have few words. Whatever I say, it might have bounced off you guys.
Uh,
So it's always important to support your words with visuals.
yes,
And when AR comes in, it in fact just animates and shows you the whole thing. You're trying to explain a concept about uh, how structural foundation is important, and
yes.
how earth resistance is required, how deep, and you can show it visually.
Yeah, you
uh,
can exactly.
yeah.
Like you can even give some sort of a spatial depth to it, because
Yeah.
if you look at something 2 dimensions on a page, it can only be two. But
Yeah.
if you can manipulate it, you can see the entire thing.
Exactly. So that's the power of AR. What I would say. I mean, XR in itself. And okay, so I'll show you one of the
Okay.
work first. This I was part of this project in Trimble.
Uh-huh.
So let me just show it off. Start off with this.
Trimble, that's the holding company for SketchUp, right?
Yeah. Okay, so this was I
Sure.
think 3 years back. Um so it's basically a video call for field technicians when there's a problem in your say your MEP section, basically you can say, where there are certain issues with the wiring, and you want to. There's a person in the field. He doesn't know how to resolve the issues, so he needs to get on a call with the expert, and the expert over there, he's much more what do you say? He knows a lot more stuff about things, and when you're trying to guide these people, like when you're trying to guide your technician, you need to know which wire is what. And so you see the green, the red circling over there. So those all are AR basically, where whatever markups I do over there, it
Mm.
stays there. And if I move my phone away, it doesn't mean that it just stay on my screen. It's just gonna stay at that particular junction box over there. Whatever.
Mm.
So when I
Does it have a spatial locationing
yeah
dimension to it?
Yeah. So they have. So yeah, XR means 3D, and it actually attaches to the 3D. What is it? Through that junction. So let me tell you in brief, actually, what happens in XR. What is the technically know-how on how this thing works. Uh, so basically, what happens is in XR, when you are trying to make um, an object in digital to stay in the physical world, what happens is your mobiles, or when you're showing through video cameras, your camera records the environment, and it basically creates a 3D mesh. It's called a virtual world mesh,
Okay,
where
okay,
it forms a 3D, a mesh on to the real world, and on the real world, whichever the 3D mesh is mapped, it has the location origins point within the mobile,
okay,
and what happens is, so when you do a three you know a markup or something, it gets
yes.
attached to the virtual world mesh. So when your virtual world mesh
Oh,
and the real world mesh are together, it always stays. It looks as if it's always stayed so there. So that's what happens. So basically,
ah,
it scans the
okay,
environment first, it forms a mesh about it, it forms a replica of that, and then in the virtual world, and you're not able to see the mesh though.
right,
And then it attaches over there to that mesh, and then you move around here and there. It seems that this object is attached. I mean, this digital object is attached in the real world, but it's
but
basically
but it's
attached in the digital world, just that the digital replica is invisible. So
okay, okay, I see. You perceive it to be, but it's not really that way.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Uh, okay, that was informative. In fact, that was a really good example of showing the practical applications of AR, because it can assist on sites, and I can already see that going towards architecture, but I can see you got something
Yeah,
here for us already.
I
It is
got it here for architecture, guys.
you got us
Something which
covered.
all, yeah, I got it covered, guys. Something much more bigger, larger. And let's start it.
Okay.
I guess there may not be any audio.
Oh no, that's fine. Oh wow, I see. Ah, is this like an HVAC system?
Yeah, your MEP HVAC systems.
MEP HVAC system. Ah.
I want
Oh
to
wow.
visually
It's showing us a layout of it in an actual space.
exactly.
Ah, I see. Now, would this still be considered augmented, or does this border more
Mixed reality.
mixed?
Mixed. It's mixed. This
Okay,
is
okay.
mixed. Yeah. So you see the person's using
Oh,
a
he's using.
HoloLens.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Ah, I see. Because he
He's
has a
using,
headset on to see
yeah.
this.
He's
Okay.
using the first version of HoloLens.
Oh, okay. Oh, and now it's disappearing as well. So he can manipulate the sizes of that HVAC as well through the
Yeah.
gestures. Ah, I see. I
The
see.
panel, you see the panel over there, that's your
Yes.
information board, menu board, and over there he actually interacts with it and see. So there you see the
Oh,
scan.
there's the mesh. There's the mesh.
Yeah, yeah, that's the mesh.
Oh, it's like a mesh. It's oh,
Yeah,
I'm sure there's different kinds. It's almost like contour mapping.
it is actually it's contour mapping. You can say, it
Okay.
just maps your whole environment into polygons, and
Ah,
then it just gives you that replica, and from there on it just maps it accordingly.
that's
Now you see
a
here,
lot of data. Hey, sorry, Hari, Chimin, that's a lot of
yeah.
data to mention. Lots of polygons. What kind of infrastructure are we looking at to handle that kind of data?
So, with respect to infrastructure, there's, let me say, if you see over here, the models, 3D models, they don't look real. Okay,
Yeah.
they look low poly, right?
Right.
So one of the major reasons is because the amount you can render, the computational rendering capability for HoloLens is about 1 million polygons. I'm not sure. I forgot what exactly is the count.
Uh-huh.
So the rendering capabilities requires a lot of RAM, okay, and it depends upon your speed, Wi-Fi, or your internet speeds, because you cannot connect a hard disk, or or a computer
Yes.
system onto your
Yeah,
headset.
exactly. Exactly.
It doesn't make sense. So if you want it to be wireless, like just like a Bluetooth, and or anything which is like your smartwatches, yeah, it's wireless as such. So, but it still it syncs with data. So there's
Right.
internet necessities for it. So the internet speeds required for that for actually, okay, let me ask a simpler question before going to that. I'm sure the architecture renders, whatever every one of you are creating,
Yes.
I'm sure file size must be in GB size.
Yeah, yeah,
In
they are quite large.
yeah, they're quite large, right? And that also means the more perfect rendering you do, the more it takes to time to render it, right?
Right.
When you're trying to render high definition mocks or high definition models, it's going to take a lot of time. That's because
Yeah.
that's the amount of uh, computation, efficiency is required, amount of RAM is required, uh, amount of speed and amount of digital space is required.
Right. Right.
So for these, the infrastructure is currently they are being built. I would say they are not yet present. Right
Mm.
now, we just have 4G, and
Yes.
your 4G speeds are in around 100 Mbps. Okay, 100 to 500. It comes to around that, in megabytes. But once 5G comes in, your rate speed in Gbps, which is basically it goes in gigabytes. So
Right.
your speed, I mean, your rate will go from 100
Hari,
Mbps
you
to
there?
1 gigabits.
Hari, you still there?
And it will also increase far more. Like you can say, on a
Ah,
simple case, like if I launch a 3D model into my headset, I would not, as a user, I would not want to wait for like more than 2 minutes for loading. If it goes beyond that, it gets too frustrating. And when currently, if you try to load a high definition model, it's going to take more than 10 minutes, and that's
that's a long
uh,
time.
yeah, it's pointless. So if
Yeah.
you have your 5G internet speeds coming up, and also your rendering capabilities, like your infrastructure on a development aspect, so when those are all up to scale, it actually enhances your speed, and then you will be able to view uh, the high definition models right away on your headset devices, depending upon the speeds actually. So yeah,
Mm.
like as a first step, we can say for a fine example for that is your PlayStation, Sony, which recently launched. I think it's PlayStation 5. Uh,
Yes. Yes.
yeah. So over there, they have increased the rendering capability so much. And gaming, let me say, gaming industry is always the first forerunner of what's going to happen next in the real
Ah,
world.
why
So
do you think that's so? Why do you think the gaming industry always seems to be one step ahead?
because your interaction, like say your engagement and interaction levels and is always first from there. That is
Oh,
where
okay.
you engage maximum.
Okay,
Games
I
are the
understand.
ways we engage maximum in terms of design. Like, so what do you see, like in your even Facebook or WhatsApps and Instagram, Snapchat, it's all a way of engaging users
Right.
actively to their devices, right?
Right.
But what's the forerunner to this all? It's gaming, right? Right from our childhood, we must have had video games. Even you play mobile games. So they call it the gamification, and
Yes.
so
Yes.
the concept of gamification. But in terms of interaction, like what works and what doesn't work, what will work, all these starts from gaming.
Okay.
So
Okay. I think because, like you're saying, because there's such high levels of interaction that those who are in the gaming environment, they're always trying to push how much more can we engage. So it's possible that's why they're always first at it.
you can say it's very innovative and creative in the way according to the game they set up and what all kind of actions, gestures, whatever is possible. And that is where you have the most freedom to explore in whatever ways, also keeping in mind your natural order. So another important thing when you're designing for XR is that you need to know the natural laws of physics, right? Because you are in a real environment, but the game, or if say like let's say I'm developing or designing a game for IndexR,
Right.
you are playing the game, and the game has its own rules. The game's environment has its own rules, but you need to keep in mind that the person still is in the real world, right?
Right.
Especially if I'm designing for a VR game, so
Right.
you need to accordingly design, and that's where you innovate on the kind of moves you make, the super moves you're gonna do, let's say in a game. So
Right.
it's most creative space over there, and whatever like your joystick and the way you move your hand, your fingers, all these are an inspiration, and also your effects. The a number of effects. The majorly important part is about the rendering capabilities and effects. So right now, gaming industry is the first to bring it upon. and later on it's gonna trickle down to all the other industries now.
Okay, okay, I see. I think we can discuss that one more in depth
Yeah,
at the Q&A, because I'm sure there's lots of gamers here that probably want to talk about it.
yeah. And so I have another video on.
Ah,
Across all industries, transformation is key to growth, and designing new spaces involves detailed planning. If you aren't prepared, the smallest oversight can cause costly delays. With Microsoft Layout, you can plan your space, collaborate with others, and experience your designs with confidence in mixed reality before you build. You can bring the space to you and work from anywhere with an immersive experience. Visualize your layout in 3D. Try new ideas and iterate quickly. But even with the most detailed planning, the real world can present unexpected challenges that require creative problem solving. With Hololens, you can work with high-quality 3D holograms integrated into your space. With Microsoft Layout, you have the tools you need to design and review in context and find new solutions that give you confidence before you commit. Transform your layout in moments with precision and speed. Share your designs with others.
Do you have time to take a look at this floor plan?
All right, let's have a look. And save time by making decisions together.
Great. Thanks for the quick work.
With Microsoft Layout, you can design faster, share your work with others, and experience your designs in mixed reality, so you can break new ground with confidence.
sure. Hari, have you had the opportunity to work on these on projects similar to these?
Yep, I did. So Trimble also does something similar to this. Not exactly Microsoft Layout, but the Trimble Connect, which you saw earlier, where you see the hatchback system, right? So
Right.
I got to play a part over there, and in fact, like I was part of the team when we were redesigning the modules, the design panels, and
Right.
when the new HoloLens came in, and how do you design for the for the new HoloLens, how do you change the interactions? So I was just a small part in it, playing small part in it, as my manager over there, he was taking care of it mostly. And so yeah, I did get a chance to use a lot of applications in the HoloLens and play around with it. It's an amazing experience, guys. I should say that. And
That's no, I can definitely see a lot of benefit for that, especially when designing. Spatial planning, just so that you're not working only on a plan section elevation, you are working in actually three-dimensional objects.
yeah, yep. Okay. Just go. So something on consumer lifestyle,
Yes.
other than architecture.
Mario fans, hold on to your carts because the next evolution of Mario Kart is here and it looks incredible. Nintendo surprised gamers with a brand new Mario Kart game titled Mario Kart Live Home Circuit that'll see players use their Switch to drive remote-controlled cars. How's this new augmented reality game going to pan out? And can we still launch red turtle shells at each other? All that and more will be discussed in today's video. Let's begin.
Okay.
It's been 35 years since Mario first graced our gaming screens, and Nintendo decided to mark the special occasion with a full-on party. Okay, not an actual party, but rather an announcement video highlighting all the great new Mario games that are on their way. So that's basically like a party, right? The biggest...
Okay, I thought just it's more of a. After that, it's just commercials on both them.
Okay.
But you see over there, yeah, but you see over there, the cart over there. That's a real place where you can actually
Yes.
use the cars, and you can drive it, and you have a Nintendo on your hand in your hands where you can just using your joystick, and you don't have to specifically see where you. It's like um, I'm sure you must have driven cars which has camera of when you're going back, reverse taking a reverse in your
Yes,
car.
yes, yes, yes.
So like that, it has a camera in the front, and you actually just need to see the Nintendo like this, and you will be able to see like how you're gaming in a real car
But
race. I mean,
but that's amazing stuff, because now you can, it's almost like a control over objects that you can have, so you can ensure that
yeah,
it goes to the right place, does the right thing. And I can imagine this happening even if we get deeper into 3D automation and 3D printing. You could direct an entire structure without actually being there on site.
now the interesting thing is this is also mixed reality. Okay,
Okay.
so
Okay.
it's not exactly that you're using a headset,
Ah,
and it is not exact, and it's like you're not totally dependent upon your screen over here. Okay, you're using the screen to see how the car moves and which
right,
direction, that single POV, but actually you can see the car over there going around,
right, right,
and
right, right. I see. But
and you
it,
see the
it has
interaction over
a real
there.
world consequence.
Yeah, I just wanted to add one more point. You see the interaction over there where you see that one Mario Kart throws a bomb on the other one, right?
There is,
That's possible through your gaming over here. But in reality, what happens is like there is a bigger video. I think I didn't add that video. They actually explain that when you do that to your opponent, your car or your opponent's car slows down automatically in the real world.
okay.
Okay,
Then,
so that is you
uh,
got me.
sorry, Harry. Sorry, continue, please.
Yeah,
It's exciting to see.
yeah. So what my point is, your mixed reality, your XR doesn't always mean it's on your headset. Okay, it can be
Right,
anything. It's it's about providing the right solutions at the right time. I believe at the right places.
right,
You try to solve a problem in a different way and in a
right.
more fulfilling way for the users. So
So,
yeah,
so,
so
so,
that's
Harry, what's linking all these things together? Is it the Internet of Things that allows you from your phone to control the car, or what is the infrastructure that's holding all this together?
yeah, it is IoT in a way. Yep, it is an
Okay.
IoT where IoT plays a big part over here in this. But it's not only that; it's way beyond that as well.
Okay, okay, okay. All right, please continue. It's getting
Yeah.
even better as we're going.
Okay.
Hey, IKEA would like everyone to know about Place, our new augmented reality app. Built on Apple's new AR kit, you can easily place true to scale 3D models of IKEA furniture in your place. Scan, browse, select, move, and place. So that could mean less of this. And less of this. And probably more of this. We want to make it easier for people everywhere to imagine a better place. Share this place. And this place. Try place in your place.
There we go. There we go. We've gotten already into the interior architectural space
Exactly.
and layouts. Um,
Yeah.
so this is already, you can say, to some degree mainstream, but it hasn't exactly reached all parts of the world yet. And I think that's a specific topic which you're going to touch on later on in the conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But
We'll talk about that.
we can already see this is so many questions coming up now.
Yeah. Okay. This is Google.
If you've ever lived in a city with underground transit, you know the problem I'm about to have. You come out of the subway station, look at your Maps app, then end up completely walking in the wrong direction until the little blue dot finally catches up. The Google
Right.
Maps team is working on a way to make that part of travel a lot easier, especially for pedestrians. It's working on a feature that can superimpose your navigation on top of a live view of the real world. Forget the map, you just see the street and there's a big bunch of arrows saying, go that way. Google lent us a phone with a new version of Maps on it so we could test out the feature. So let's go for a walk. Once you start navigating, if you hold your phone up or tap the right button, your phone will immediately open a camera and start scanning around. It's looking for familiar landmarks, signs, and more, just to see exactly where you are. Then it'll give you super specific instructions on where to go. But you're not really supposed to walk with it on all the time. Maps will even prompt you to put your phone down until you need it again to save bandwidth and battery and probably your life. Just find your turn, put it down, and move on. One maybe unexpected upside of navigating this way is it actually can make your location more accurate. Devices use GPS, cell tower data, and Wi-Fi networks to locate you, but by using your camera to actually see which direction you're pointing, what you're looking at, and how far away it is, it can drop an even more accurate pin for exactly where you are. It's pretty obvious that this feature doesn't stop with smartphones. The tech that makes it work is similar to what makes self-driving cars work, and you might be looking for restaurants on an AR windshield someday. And whenever we all start sporting AR glasses, it's going to be only natural to put some of that stuff right in front of your face. Google's not the only company working on this. There's this hilarious Hot Stepper app, which isn't nearly as sophisticated, but has this awesome dude guiding you around. Mapbox, which makes mapping tech any developer can use, is also working on AR stuff. Like this app, Driver, which can take advantage of the camera to know which lane you're in or show you info about where you're going. Look, all phone-based AR is kind of awkward, and I definitely don't recommend walking down the street with your phone like this all the time. So even this is a really early version, only going out to a few local guides, those super dedicated Google Maps users. A wider release isn't coming for a while. But for those moments when you've got somewhere to be and no idea which direction to go to get there, it's nice to have a real-world guide.
There we go, and there you go, see the dangers of AR as well. So,
The dangers, yes.
yeah,
No cognizance of the real world, unfortunately.
yeah. There are, with more power comes more responsibility, I would say.
Yes, true. Hashtag Spider-Man.
Yeah, as we can call it Spider-Man. So it's true, because the more computational abilities and as we grow technologically, we need to be more aware as well of what we should do and what we should not do, because the whole point of this technological growth and ease of use is to provide ease of use to all of us, right?
Right, correct.
Moments. Okay, and one more. Here we go. I think I have two more videos.
Okay. So here, what is happening here? Can you? It doesn't sound like there's audio. Oh, there is audio.
It's just a music. Can you hear?
Okay. Oh, wow. This is hydrogen molecules. It's showing you water. So they have three cards. One is oxygen molecule. The other two is water.
Exactly.
Wow. So what? It's using a trigger, right, to activate. So it's putting these three cards, and these three cards are projecting or showing the molecules up. And wow, now it's showing it as water. This is excellent stuff.
This is actually quite old. I think it's.
But this makes it so easy to understand chemistry now, because you have the card and you can view. Is this through a headset or is this through a phone lens?
You can do it through a phone, or you can do it through a video camera projected onto your system. And
wow, look at that. This stuff is amazing stuff. And so Hari, are you capable of doing things like this? How close are we to making this more accessible?
So I know the logic and the algorithm of how to do this, but can I do it? I haven't tried, and it needs a little bit of development efforts, and so I am generally a skeptical person with respect to development. So yeah.
I see. So it's very possible to be done in the mainstream.
Yeah. So they call it markers. Okay. You see QR codes.
Oh, markers. That's it. Markers.
Yeah, markers. So it's very similar to your QR codes. Okay. Your barcodes or QR codes. So each of these code will have a prompt, and when two of them comes in together, that gives you another result. And it's all pre-recorded. You have to make all of them, these 3D interactions, and then deploy them. And whenever a marker comes together, it should show me this interaction. So this is how it works. It's like pre-mediated. So you need to be, so when you're trying to go in the education space, if I'm doing an XR on it, basically I need to have all of those materials ready and pre-mediated materials. And if I just talk about education, how much materials out there in the world for every topic, basically. And to convert that into XR, like 3D modeling is required, and 3D digital content creation, developing it, putting them together, viewing it, and that's a lot of work. And there's no man force. I mean, there's not much of workforce for that yet.
No, of course, that looks like a whole other market to get into, whether it's in education, anything that's in education, whether it's architecture, whether it's physics, whether it's chemistry. There's an entire workforce that needs to get into this so that we can bring these concepts to life in a spatial way.
Yeah, and it takes a lot of time as well, because you see,
Yeah.
it pretty much depends upon. So, like I said, I'm quite interested in VFX, so in the film industry, right? So, I know a bit about VFX as well, and so this is
Okay.
kind of like VFX in itself.
Oh, is it? Okay.
You so the engine is almost the same. Okay, like what you use for VFX is the same. It's just that you take it as a film over there and you superimpose it on a video. Over here, you use it for the development. Okay,
Okay.
in a program, and then it has trigger points where it interacts.
Right.
So that's the difference. So it's like the creation part is the same. Okay.
Okay.
So you need people to create such things, and there is a shortage of that, and especially like this, and you need people to come together to create it together. And in fact, even designers are in shortage for this XR, in my opinion, because people first have to understand what it is,
Right.
and how do you given these experiences out for people. So this is the part of education, and I think this is quite old. You know, this is I think 5 to 6 years old.
No, I'm aware that a lot of it is old, but to the general public, seeing all of this put together, we can now get a comprehensive idea of what's been around. And I'm sure there's in fact, there's always something one step ahead, something that we aren't aware of. So I think it's great. Collab. Now, this is something that definitely would involve not just architects, but the industry at large.
What if there was a better way to collaborate, a better way to build and work together? A way that brought us closer, as if we were sitting next to each other, face to face. What if our creativity could burst to life in the space around us? Spatial is a collective computing environment that lets teams visualize their thoughts in the room around them.
Hey, Jeff.
So whether you're on a desktop computer or scribbling notes on your phone, all your digital devices are seamlessly tied together into an infinite workspace. You can manifest your ideas before your eyes by just saying them, and in a click, expand them with the power of all the world's information. Using augmented reality's infinite canvas, pixels become tactile, letting you manipulate them like clay.
Hey, buddy.
We believe digital and physical worlds should live in harmony together. You can sketch ideas out on paper, or have them exist digitally. Spatial brings people and ideas together into a single shared environment, letting us work together in profound new ways. So whether your teams are spread around the world, or you're exploring new worlds, whether you're in a fancy AR headset, or connecting from a regular PC, anybody can join the conversation and bring their ideas to the table. In 2D or 3D, from home or work, beyond the confines of space and traditional computing, we can work together in ways we never thought possible. And unlock the power of our collective intelligence as we move from personal computing to the world's first collective computer. Welcome to the future of collaboration.
Sure, Hari. Now I've got goosebumps. I know a lot of the stuff is old, but it's so fascinating that it's there.
Yeah, Spatial's. I think it's been around for 5 years or so. Spatial company, not sure.
Wow.
But they are making good progress. Where basically what I call about collaboration, right?
Right.
Ecosystem. So they are bringing an ecosystem of whether you're on a mobile, you're on a headset or VR, whatever, you can collaborate together in this digital world. I think you could say it's Matrix.
Yeah, it is, but it's a combination of of everything that we had before. This is like a summation point of all of it. I saw at moments in the video it said shot real time in Spatial. So that means, and for those who are only listening to the audio, there was people inside the, or they are inside a space, and they put on a headset, and there's an avatar of yourself appearing, and it looks really, or not of yourself, of the person that you are talking to, and it looks really like that person. And you can see the interactions between these people. And thereafter, it also begins to, in the area around you, project the ideas or the things that you are working on, the ones that have actual physical images for them, even drawings. Spatial integrates this in a very seamless manner. Like they say, they're trying to bring all of it together. It's no longer a personal computer, but a collective one. This was very insightful, at least for me.
And okay, there's marketing, which is
marketing. This is where we always see it going in marketing.
Yeah.
Don't stop coming alive. Come alive, y'all. We came to set you free.
Welcome back. You really are part of the team. Try again to win some amazing prizes, or try out our new takeover filters. You know what to do. Choose one.
So yeah, so you see over there, even I wanted to say about even OnePlus Nord. I don't know if how many of you guys saw the launch of it. OnePlus Nord is a mobile which got launched last year during the lockdown time, I guess, or just before the lockdown time. So they had an AR launch of this whole event, about the mobile. So marketing, you know, in marketing, you can do a lot of AR launches,
Right.
and it's basically experiencing that whole launch at your home, in your surrounding, physical surrounding.
Right. Just like this Fanta one here now, they're showing in the Fanta advert. They even have this, so once you scan your Fanta bottle and you can see the guy popping out of the Fanta bottle and kind of jamming around, having his dance there. It takes marketing to a new level, because marketing now is an immersive experience, as opposed to perhaps maybe playing on, okay, perhaps I will move past this billboard, or perhaps when I'm in the store, now it's entered your home.
Yep. Okay, now comes to the final one of
the grand finale.
my thesis. So I'll be showing that. I'll be giving out a few pointers on that as well. So
okay, great.
Just be...
We all are taking notes.
Oh.
So can you talk us through what's happening here, or do you have it already?
I'll talk it once it's over. Here you see the holographic frame. When I have a visual device, this is the frame I'm able to see, and this one is real world view.
Okay. Wow. Oh, so this is live. This can all happen live, real time.
What I'm trying to show here, the properties over there, and which I'm trying to use in this onboarding session. So it's basically onboarding a user into a training activity.
Is that your brother?
No.
Is that you?
No, that's me. Which one? The digital character?
No. Just in. Okay, wait. Is that you inside?
Yeah, that's me.
Ah. Oh wow. This is your work.
Yep.
Wow. This is impressive stuff. This is next level.
So yeah, a friend of mine helped me shoot the video over
Okay.
there when it's happening, and I was actually operating the whole thing.
Okay. So all of these like floating images in the air, we can see this because this is via a headset that you're using.
Yeah, this is recorded live from the HoloLens headset, which I've been wearing over there.
Wow, because usually if I watch a video like this is usually something someone has entered into post-production to do. They lay over layers. So this is a recording of what your device actually was doing at the time,
Yep.
or what your software was doing. Sorry,
You can see how the sync is. You can see I'm moving around and the headset's also moving around, you know?
Right.
Clearly.
Oh, so there's the mesh that you're talking about. All of these polygons.
Hi there. I am Major Bob, instructor for the simulation training. To start this simulation training,
it's pretty
follow
cool,
instructions carefully.
Sure.
First, log into the secure cloud server.
Ah.
Log in through your mobile into the cloud server.
This is epic because he can give you instructions during it. It's like a person talking to you instead of reading it.
Allow HoloLens to read the QR code.
So
did you animate his gestures as well? The sergeant that's directing us.
Yeah, that's why it's very odd. So it's like I had to use a software called Unity, and I mean,
this was done in Unity.
Before we begin our simulation training, let's focus and decide on the location.
Oh, and how long did it take you to do this project? Over, I know it's your thesis project. How many years was it over?
Here we can choose our places of interest.
6 to 8 months.
6 to 8 months. So all of this development in 6 to 8 months.
Further.
Oh.
Choose the zonal area.
I didn't do it alone. I had a friend of mine who helped me developing it up. So he was helping me in the core Unity aspects of it. I did a bit of
choose the building type.
Sorry, did you say it again? You did?
I think I'll talk about names.
Sure. No. I can see your visuals are so good, and it really helps you be able to navigate, because with weak visuals, it's going to be very difficult to navigate in augmented reality, because it takes on a spatial dimension now.
What do you want to section or anchor? Choose the section.
Wow. Is this using real-time location as well?
No, this is a prototype, so I didn't anchored successfully.
Oh,
your training arena setup has been completed.
Oh.
Get ready. Let's begin with the simulation training.
So the idea behind here is basically on an empty ground. I want to kind of bring in the game, a military training aspect into a digital and a physical world.
Right.
So
I see.
You have a stadium where you want to make the military guys train for specific buildings. Like if there's an attack on a building, you need to train the people personnel, and if for these personnel they need to know about where each of these places are. How the way goes, navigation happens, how do you go into the building.
Right.
So it's kind of a game, not a game. It's gamified. Yeah.
It's like a simulation of reality.
Exactly, yeah, simulation. So it's basically a simulation of a data, and if as infrastructure develops, we can do live simulation as well.
This is actually like it takes me back to 2002, or was it 3, when X-Men had come out, and X-Men had shown Professor Xavier his entire world he sees, but also they had a simulation of a fight scene, and then that entire grid room disappears and you realize you're just in a room.
Yeah, so that was the idea for me over here to start off with. So this was my project thesis, where on an interaction level, how do I onboard a user who's new to XR or MR, and how to log in, and it's like about taking the login processes and setting up the device and setting up the arena. So that's the only scope I actually came up with. I had a lot more scope into this, how the interaction should happen when a person moves inside and all those things. But that was with respect to the HoloLens 1.
Okay.
So the headset has become more advanced and the capabilities have increased a lot more. So it will actually accordingly change. But I actually have papers of my, on note plans or all how to improve this about. But then maybe I'll take it up sometime later, not now.
Okay. No, but I get where you're going, and I can see there was a lot of work put into this. But in 6 to 8 months, this is quite remarkable. Okay, we'll discuss it as we go forward. We'll discuss it as we go forward. There's so much for us to speak about.
Yeah, I think it took a year almost incomplete, because right from research, getting to understand about the product, about this device, and actually taking time to go through many applications, many apps, Microsoft, many apps, which, I mean, or the limited number of apps which were present in it, and how they go about doing it, what is the controls, and what are, like, it was more of a trial and error as well in this, because around this time there was no documentation as such by the Microsoft on what works and what won't work. And luckily, so few things I found out by myself, few things, the documentation luckily came, and I found out, okay, there are a few more things I need to consider when I'm designing for the, for these layouts. You saw the map interactions over there.
Right.
So for it to be visible, there are a few things you need to consider. And you also see the frame and the distance at which you need to place in Unity.
Right.
So those are many aspects which you actually had to, learn doing it practically. For us, it was more of a learning practically, which is the ideal distance at which you're bringing something in 3D. I mean, in your digital world, where should you place the object is an important thing, because you're adding another dimension into this world. And when you design with another dimension, it brings in a whole lot of other factors into, a whole lot of problems. It's very easy to do on 2D, but when you're trying to do something on 3D, it's just, you're adding another whole dimension into this whole thing, into the whole equation. And that's the amount of problems you also need to solve accordingly for it.
Right. So tell me how, because this was your thesis project. Before that, how was your skills, your abilities to get it at this point? Was it a major learning jump that you had to take to get it to where it is now, or at this point that we see?
So I would say first, like, I could do this much because only after I could experience them hands-on and viewing so many applications, then only I was able to understand actually, okay, what are the factors, and also discussing with the developers, okay, what are the difficulties they have, what are the restrictions they have. It's not all very easy out there, okay, and you need to design accordingly to how, I mean, whatever is provided to you. You cannot go out of the way, because until then, before that, while I was doing my master's, like my final course, like final semesters, I did work on, I think I did another project on a conceptual project on AR, on XR basically. So over there as well, it was very conceptual, though it is technically, I think it's possible. Yeah, so I had the leverage of however I want to keep the gestures and whatever. Okay. So concept. But when you have a medium of interaction in your hand, and I specifically in that concept, I did not define what medium of interaction I'm going to use. I just it's a concept, and that's it. That's a lot more easier for you to define the whole system. But when you have a medium of interaction in your hand, whatever device, how do you use this device to make this come out forward, and make this interaction out, make this product out? That has its own learning curve, and that learning curve was what actually that 6 to 8 months it took me.
I see. So you had some prior knowledge or experience in it. The learning curve came in a different realm, not so much in learning to use the technology.
So I had prior experience. I mean, understanding about what each of them are, but and especially after experiencing it live, there was a lot more clarity. But from there on, how the device works is very important. So it depends upon the device, the medium of interaction. That's why I would term it as medium of interaction is very important. What is the medium you're going to use? And depending upon that, your experience is always tied to it.
True. I think I can make notes and I understand what you mentioned.
So I have few other things. So I think you might have seen. Yeah, I'm sure some of you guys must have seen. This was the intro video for 1:X workshop.
Right. That's you.
I was very fascinated by AR. The problems it could solve, the experience it can provide. There's humongous potential in it. But I was still curious about it. So I started working around how to go about working on AR in the companies. And thankfully I got into one of the top companies where I designed for AR, and that's when I realized the huge opportunity in this.
Select the location tags to proceed further.
So yeah, this is what you guys saw.
Yes.
The
Yes.
zonal area.
I did
Oh.
2 other projects after this. I'll show you that.
All right.
Actually, 3 more will come in. These 2 you are seeing. The next one. Yeah, you guys saw this one as well.
Whoa, you were on a team doing this as well.
Yeah.
Whoa. Trimble Hackathon 2019.
Yeah.
Introducing design is AR,
Okay. So
an
just
online
kind of
workshop for
introduction.
designing AR experiences, where
Okay.
you get to learn and understand the basics of AR, learn the key points for designing for AR, ideate and innovate on design problems, and finally create moments of wow. This is really enjoying
Okay.
So this was the course you had on 1:X.
Exactly. So you see the 4 points over there. That's what I covered in those
Right.
4 days, 4 intense days, and
Right.
one midday, which is more of a bit, and then there's an exercise for a week in between. So yeah, like I just wanted to say those last two projects which I was involved. The first one where you saw as a team,
Yes.
we won the global best hack award in Trimble.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, globally we got the first prize
Sure.
for that.
Congratulations on that. I know it's delayed, but congratulations on that.
And that was the team, and I think it wouldn't have been possible without the team.
Right.
Everyone were super good, and we all pulled it off. And the next one you saw, so again, there's a big difference over there. The first one you saw over there was on the old Hololens, and the next one which you see where the guy interacts with the graph, 4D graph over there,
Right.
is where that one is basically on HoloLens 2, the advanced new gen HoloLens,
Right.
and where your capabilities, your gestures have increased a lot. So we were trying to solve something even more problem, very high level problems like data visualization using
Right.
chart. So yeah, so both the ideas were mine over
Ah.
there. So the conceptual ideas of what we should do were started off with me, and thanks to these team members and everyone on the team. So all of the others are developers over there. I was the
Right.
only designer, and I hung
Oh,
out.
you're the only designer of all the
Yeah,
developers.
yeah. All of them
Well,
were developers.
I can see why it came together so well there. I think you put it together very well, and that's quite an achievement to have under your belt.
It's basically because you need to have a clear understanding. Unless you don't have an understanding, you cannot design well.
True. Unfortunately, I think people take designers to mean that it means aesthetics or it means visuals solely, and a lack of understanding of the process. But being a designer is more than that, much more.
Yep. And yeah, so that's all I have actually to present you guys. And
but
pretty long.
why did it have to end, Hari? Why did it have to end? So guys, what we will do at this moment in time, Hari, thank you for showing us an insightful presentation. I think we will have about say a 10-minute break before we rejoin to have a little discussion between Hari and myself, showing or taking us through the ideas of augmented reality, what it actually is, and how could this be related to architecture. And thereafter we'll have a question and answer session.